And I think fair play to Stano, because obviously he'll want the golden boot for League One, but he's handing over penalties for the betterment of the team. I think, and I think that's really, really credible that he's clearly a team player, isn't he?
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Tuesday evening, Birmingham City beat Stevenage 2-1 in what was overall a controlled performance. Now, of course, it was a shame to concede that goal right at the death there, but ultimately we got those 3 points. We keep on moving as the season comes to a close and things are still looking very good at the top of the table. So, Dad, Birmingham City 2, Stevenage 1, what were your thoughts?
Firstly, a big thank you, actually, to John. He met us before the game, didn't we? He bought us a beer. So thank you very much for that, John. That was really appreciated.
Thank you, John. Yeah, greatly appreciated.
And we met a lot of other people as well. I was standing there drinking the beer. We had loads of people. I can't remember all the names. I remember Richard. Again, you know who you are. Apologise if we don't remember all of your names. We just meet that many people. It's hard to remember everybody. But anyway, it's great talking to you all and fantastic catching up. And thank you very much for your kind comments about the channel.
I think because we were standing, Dad, by the Tilton entrance where you walk up, I think people must have noticed us more because we got stopped loads yesterday, didn't we? But no, really nice to meet you all. And
it was great.
Yeah, if anyone else wants to buy us a beer, please feel free. I'm joking. No, absolutely not. But thank you again for the beer. Thank you for everyone's kind words as well. Everyone we meet always gives us really kind words and nothing but positivity. So I'm waiting for someone to stand up there and go, "Your podcast is rubbish."
Yeah, that happens in the comments.
There it is.
Okay. I mean, again, Matt, we're just like a well-oiled machine now. We found a way of winning games, and it's not always the most attractive. Although I felt that we did play some good football yet again yesterday. We were in complete control of the game, and the starting lineup again was interesting, isn't it? Because Alfons Sampsted came in for his first league start of the season, and I thought he took his chance really well. But what surprised me, I thought that it might be Bielek there, and I'm guessing because I obviously found out that after the match that Taylor Gardner-Hickman had took a little knock, so he wasn't available. So I'm just wondering if Taylor Gardner-Hickman had been available, would he have been there instead of Sampsted? But whatever happened, Sampsted, I thought was, in my opinion, he was man of the match for Blues.
Yeah.
A great supply line from the right.
I wouldn't. I don't know whether Taylor Gardner-Hickman would have started, Dad, because Chris Davies set Sampsted up the same as he set Laird up, and I don't think Taylor Gardner-Hickman's that kind of player.
Yeah.
Because you could see Sampsted was effectively playing right forward, really, weren't he? And then Clara kept swinging to cover the right back position.
Yeah.
And Allsop, he didn't play him in as much as he would do Laird. I mean, we can come back to Allsop's distribution in a minute because he was outstanding again. But you did see Sampsted constantly making those Laird-type runs, didn't he? And Taylor Gardner-Hickman isn't that kind of player. So I think that was a very deliberate tactical change. But, Dad, question straight off the bat, what do you think what signal does that send or message does that send to Bielek?
Well, I think it signals the end, really, if I'm fair. If anybody watches this podcast, you know that me and Matt are Bielek fans. We like him. We think he's a decent player. But he's not going to sit in the reserves of a League One or maybe a Championship team. He's I'm pretty sure that will spell the end. Because obviously we've got Neumann coming in that is going to be further competition in the centre-back position, which he can play as well. Right back is Laird if he's fit, in my opinion. And obviously Alfons Sampsted is a natural right back as well, so he can cover that.
And Taylor Gardner-Hickman can cover right back as well.
So it's difficult to know where and how Bielek is going to get fitted. Unfortunately, I know that that's my opinion, and some people might disagree with that, but I think it can only spell the end for him, I think.
The only scenario I could see him staying at the moment is if we don't sign Ben Davies for various reasons. I have no idea what's on the club's mind or salary negotiations. We're not privy to that information, are we? But if for some reason we didn't get Ben Davies, Neumann and Clara, I presume, would be the starting centre-backs moving forward. I mean, we're speculating here. The season hasn't even ended yet, but I'm just saying, making a point that Bielek then could be a secondary backup for centre-back. But he's not going to want that, is he? He's going to want first-team football, and he's a Championship player.
Yeah, he'll go. And obviously, don't forget as well, we've also got Dion Sanderson, who's only out on loan, but he'll go as well. But anyway, that's a conversation for a different podcast. But back to the match, obviously, Sampsted came in at right-back, and also because Taylor Gardner-Hickman, who had been playing on the right, he was clearly obviously injured. He brought Williamson back into the number 10 and shoved Dowell over onto the right. So that's the only real changes we had from the starting lineup against Lincoln. And I thought it looked fairly balanced and fairly controlled. One thing about Stevenage is that they had a lot less possession than us, but when they did have the ball, they were quite effective in terms of their passing was good. They played some decent football. And unlike a lot of teams, they did try when they had the ball to do something with it.
What I'd say, Dad, is, and like if you look at the game at the weekend against Lincoln quite literally put 11 men behind the ball. They only wanted a point, and they were trying to frustrate us as much as possible. At least when Stevenage had the ball and they went on the attack, they were shooting from distance. They had a couple of shots. They at least tried to have a bit of a go.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're a fan watching Birmingham City this season, we are favourites in most of the games. We are particularly good and strong at home. I don't mind it when teams come out and have a little bit of a go, especially Stevenage's, who put defence first.
Yeah.
And when they were on their counter-attack, fair play, at least they had a bit of a crack from time to time.
Yeah.
You know, I think you can hold your head up when the final whistle goes when you do that stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, we did have a lot of the ball. I think we controlled the game. I think we were deserved winners of that, but it is just an appreciation, I guess, for Stevenage. I can see why they're a mid-table League One team.
They closed down well. They're a proper, unit, aren't they? And you could see that in the second half. We'll come on to the various chances in a minute. But in the second half, when we were 2-0 up, they just had a go. And we got a little bit sloppy as well. I think because they were closing and pressing, we gave the ball away quite a few times in midfield. I think Awata was guilty of giving it away a couple of times.
Paik as well.
Paik, and even Mark Leonard, when he came on, he gave the ball away. But again, that's partly because, firstly, I think it was sloppiness. We weren't looking where they were passing sometimes. And secondly, I think Stevenage were not giving them an awful lot of space as well. But clearly they're a good team. In fact, they had the first chance of the game, didn't they?
They did.
Right at the very beginning, where we obviously had a bit of play, and when they got the ball, there some really nice interplay, which led to a shot from, I think it was Jamie Reid from the outside of the box, and Allsop had to dive to his right to send it out for a corner. So that was a bit of a warning shot from the beginning.
I'll tell you what, I actually thought it was a good game of football.
Yeah.
You know, especially after watching the game against Lincoln on Saturday, which was just, or in my opinion, it was just an awful game of football to watch as a spectator. I was actually quite entertained. It started off quite quick. Stevenage had a shot. I think they had a corner as well. We had some really good chances. You know, it was looking like it was going to have that back and forth. I think after about 10 minutes, though, we did take complete control of that first half.
Yeah.
But it was a well-paced game.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, I walked away from St.Andrews last night thinking, I thought that was a pretty entertaining game of football. But you're right, Dad. Stevenage did get off the mark quite quickly. They had that shot. Really good save from Allsop.
Yeah.
And, I must admit, when he had that shot and that save, I thought, oh, no. This could be a tough night, because it was just 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
But as I said, I think from that, Dad, we took control. And what I liked was we were quite positive.
Yeah.
You know, we have been guilty sometimes this season of getting stuck in that side to side. I think we did do that a little bit last night, but it wasn't as bad. But we were getting balls in the box.
Yeah.
We were making some good runs. We had a few chances. You know, we could have been 2 or 3 up by half time, really, couldn't we? Again, coming back to that point of the classic blue symptom this season, not putting the ball in the net. And thankfully, we did find that breakthrough. But I thought the first half, Dad, we were a lot more positive and going at them a lot better than we have done this season.
We had chances, and we tried to play, as you said, a little bit more direct, and that was clearly obvious in this game. There's 1 or 2 times and occasions where we can see in the stands, which sometimes the players maybe can't see, where we know there's a good through ball, the players made a great run, and they're just basically not finding them. And I think that'll come with more playing together and stuff like that. But we had a chance not long after the chance that we spoke about for Stevenage, where Dowell played a great ball down the right to Sampsted. He crossed it in, their defenders cleared it, and it fell to a Water on the edge of the box, and he leathered it as he does, and it went over the bar. It wasn't massively over the bar, but it was over the bar. That was a good chance. And then again, we were on the front foot. We were positive at that point. And eventually, the goal came, which was another penalty.
Yeah, it was a penalty as well.
It was a penalty, and again we'll talk about the manager, what he said after the game, because they all say the same thing. The opposition managers, of course, it was a soft penalty. Well, we're getting so many penalties because, firstly, our players are in those positions, and secondly, the defenders are just being clumsy. It's not as if we're getting penalties that we don't deserve, because the opposition fans, the opposition managers will always argue that it's a soft penalty. It would only give them because, and even in Alex Ravel's post-match interview, he was asked, "Do you think it's because there's 25,000 Blues fans here? Do you think that influenced the referee?" Basically said without a doubt.
Well, he says that, but the ref was rubbish. I thought he was rubbish for both teams, if I'm honest. That's not me saying as a Blues fan that ref was rubbish for Birmingham City. That ref was just awful. Full stop. That was it. That was awful refereeing again. I mean, it shows signs, Dad, when he gives us a foul in the 91st minute and the whole stadium cheers like we scored a goal. I mean, that sends a message that how bad it was.
And
as I said, it was just a bad referee again. But that was a penalty, in my opinion.
It was a penalty, but it was good build-up for the penalty, wasn't it? I mean, the actual way that we, it was a fantastic through ball. I think it was Williamson that started it off to, Dowell maybe to Alfons Sampsted. To Stansfield. And Stansfield reversed ball inside the box, and Sampsted carried on with his
wasn't it?
run. It was absolutely fantastic.
It was.
And that was good play. And the play clearly pulled him back. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what and how they think that's not a penalty, but it was a penalty.
It was.
And again, interestingly, Kieran Dowel took the penalty again. I like the fact that he's taking the penalties. I like it because he's already shown in 2 penalties. He's got variation in his penalties.
Yeah, because he went top right against Lincoln.
Yes.
And then he went bottom left against complete opposite.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
maybe that's why Stansfield giving him the ball, because Stansfield penalties have become predictable in as much as he tends to go down the middle.
Power, isn't it, down the middle?
The Cambridge goalkeeper worked that out, which is why he saved it. And I think fair play to Stano, because obviously he'll want the golden boot for League One, but he's handing over penalties for the betterment of the team, I think. And I think that's really, really credible that he's clearly a team player, isn't he?
And every time a player scores, Dad, whether it was Dowell or Paik last night, you should see Stansfield's face. He's genuinely buzzing for his teammate to get a goal. There's no rivalries there. And I think you can tell with this Blues team, Dad, for the first time in a long, long time, they're really together. They're a unit. They have each other's backs.
Yeah.
They support each other. They're happy when each other score a goal. And for me, that's priceless. We talk about Stevenage, Dad, in the pre-match video. We talk about other teams in this division about being a unit, being together. Wrexham a little bit like that as well. Stevenage is a bit like that. Lincoln a little bit like that. They've been together for a while. I think we're like that now. We're a unit. We're a team. We're together. And I think that's invaluable, because when it kicks off, everyone has each other's backs. When you win together. It's a team game, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to see that as fans. You want to see that in your team. You want to feel like they actually feel like they're as one team, which is obviously clear something we lacked completely last season. That type of thing. Just to finish off the first half as well, Matt. I mean, Sampsted was a really good outlet. I think he took his chance really well. I think as well he's earned his starting spot in the next game against Northampton. But at the end or towards the end of the second half, he's put a couple of good balls across as well. But there was just nobody there, and I think that's where we can probably. That's the type of thing that in an early season I would have expected Alfie May to have been there, but clearly he didn't come on till the second half. But it's that type of player in that type of position where we anticipate that if either winger or either wing back is going to get the ball across, somebody's going to anticipate that there is going to be a cross. Yeah. It's frustrating, isn't it, when they do all that work and the ball just rolls across the box?
Yeah, it is frustrating. Yeah. And we're not really a team that packs the box, are we? Again, credit to teams like Wrexham. I know a lot of Blues fans and fans in general don't like that style of football, and I get it. But they are good at it. They crowd the box, they get balls in, and they score a lot of goals, don't they? We're not that kind of team. We don't pack the box with players. We don't get players in that way that other teams do. But when we do get balls in, you think to yourself, if someone had the accelerator on there and put the red on it, it's going in the top corner. We just had someone on the end of it. And for me, Dad, the first half, 2 final things in the first half and move on to the second. One was we forced them into loads of mistakes ourselves. You talked about the Stevenage press. Dad. I thought our press was even more impressive. Yeah. They were kicking out for throw-ins and corners. Our intensity when we took you described it at the game as a swarm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
when we swarm around them, they don't know what to do, and we did force them into some errors. I think we have scored quite a few set pieces this season, but that's only because of the volume that we get. I think if we could become even more clinical from set pieces, what did we have in the first half? It must have been 5 or 6 corners.
I can't remember.
It was a lot.
It was a few.
It was a decent amount. And I thought if we could capitalise on them, we really could have gone in on the first half 2 or 3 up. And also, he went off at half time. You mentioned Dad Sampsted was your man of the match, and fair enough. I thought Hansen was on track to be man of the match.
Yeah, he was.
But he got sub. I thought in that first half he was excellent. I thought he had. I don't know what their right back was doing, but Hansen had a lot of space, didn't he? Every single time Allsop played it over or Paik played a dink over, whoever it was, he was in a load of space and he was causing that right back no end of bother.
I think that was clearly part of our game plan to get the ball to Hansen so that he'd attack their right back. And he did really well, but he was taken off, as you say, at half time because Chris Davies said that he just felt a bit of tightness in his calf, and because he's still coming back off an injury. He's played a lot of football since that. I think they just wanted to be precautionary. They brought Alfie May on, didn't they? And then that meant that Alfie May came on, and then Stansfield went over to where Hansen was on the left, and Alfie May became the number 9, didn't he?
That's the one. So second half, Dad, brings on to that nicely.
Yeah. So then Blues chance again, almost like straight away. Through ball. I think it was from Stansfield. Oh yeah, this is where we were attacking down their left-hand side, and the ball was rolled, which Stansfield was running onto, and he got to it just before it went to the goal line, pinged it across, and Williamson was running in, and I think he did make contact with it, but I think he was too wide of the goal to knock it in. Yeah. That was a good chance as well.
What I'd say that about Stansfield on the left or the right when he plays out on the wings, he's not a winger. We all know this. Stansfield's a 9. He's a goal scorer. That's what he does. But I do love his pace.
Yeah,
he gets onto those loose balls, doesn't he? And he chases with his energy. Because he's such an intense player with his energy, he does cause a lot of problems still when he's out wide. I mean, I don't want to see him out there for the rest of the season, or even see him out there consistently. Making a point, he's decent on the wing, isn't he?
He is, and because he's got pace,
Yeah.
and I think that example there of the chance we just explained, it's only because of his pace that we had the chance. So
Exactly.
and that's what we need. I do think, again, another conversation for another podcast is I do think we need a naturally left-footed, pacey winger to supplement the team as
I
well.
think we need a left and a right, Dad. As in just absolute beasts of wingers.
Yeah, we are going to be doing a podcast on what we think we might need to be competitive next season, maybe next week or the week after. But look out for that when it comes. We'll have those conversations in that podcast.
And by the way, Dad, when I say left and right, I'm not being disrespectful to Keshi Anderson and the wingers that have pitched in this season. They've had fantastic seasons, but again, things are looking good. If we do go back to the championship next season, we need clinical wingers who are going to score. Those kind of wingers that every time they're on the ball, they create a chance 6 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10. Because a winger is naturally going to lose the ball a few times. It comes with the territory of being a pacey winger. But if they can create more than they lose it, I'm all for it. But what I would say on wingers, Dad, is it's not against Chris Davies' philosophy, but our wingers, I mean, Hansen's been doing it quite a lot recently, and Keshi Anderson does do it when he's on the pitch, to be fair. But we pass it more than we take people on, don't we?
Yeah.
And I can't remember your name. I'm really sorry, but I was speaking to someone on the concourse before the game kicked off, and he said this to me. He said something along the lines of, "Our wingers are really good, but they don't do what they should do because it feels like it's an instruction from Davies to be more cautious and passive if in danger." Whereas we were saying, what if we just took a bit more of a gamble? We took the player on, we got the ball in the box. Would we score more goals? It's a difficult balance, isn't it? Because you want to keep hold of the ball. Chris Davies is a high possession manager, but you also want to be a bit dangerous down the wings.
Yeah, well, we said before, possession is only as good as what you do with it as well.
Exactly.
And in fact, actually, if any game was to prove that point, it was this one here, because Stevenage had only 27% possession, yet in that 27, they had more shots on target than us, with 27% possession. And again, that
more shots on target.
Yep, they did. So basically,
because by the way, I can't stand the shot stat because you could hoof it from the halfway line.
Well, on target means it's gone.
Shots drew my head in.
Yeah, well, according to the Sky stats, we had 73% possession, 10 shots, of which 2 were on target. Stevenage had 27% possession, 11 shots and 4 on target.
Is it 11 shots? It's just not.
Yeah, I know. I get that. But the point I'm making is, you think with 73% possession that you'd obviously, because you got more of the ball, you think you'd do more with it.
I remember a game last season that I can't remember the game, but Blues had something like 17 or 18 shots, but 16 of them were over the bar, still making their way to Coventry.
I know. I think it just gives you a bit of a metric to consider, like how well you've done, how well you've played. Then we had the second goal, which was again right at the beginning of the second half. The ball, we had a corner, didn't we? It was flicked on very cleverly by Dowell, actually, and it found Alfie May. Alfie May turned, passed it back to Paik, who actually literally just dinked it to the side, and that's what got him the chance to shoot. And he tucked it just inside the post.
Lovely finish.
A little bit like the position that Bailey Peacock-Farrell was in against Bolton, the goalkeeper in the post, and he tucked it in between.
I thought you were going to describe a goal he scored. Then I was thinking, did he score? Has he scored this season?
No, I was thinking
the goalkeeper's position.
The goalkeeper's position was the same type of thing. Although the difference in that one is that John McAtee for Bolton was running through, wasn't he? It was a good goal, really, really good goal. And by the way, to us, he's Paik. I know that some people call him Peck. It has to be Paik because my thumb doesn't work. You look at the thumbnail on the video. It says Paik that. It doesn't peck that. Don't work. Sounds like a pigeon. So that was 2-0, and that really took the pressure off, isn't it? And actually proved to be a very important goal because of the goal they scored at the end.
Absolutely, and you've said that, haven't you, a lot this season. When you are tight at the back, you can win games 1-0, but this is the risk, isn't it? If we were only 1-0 up, we'd have walked away with a point last night.
Exactly. Which
don't say it.
No, I'm not going to.
It's coming up because we're playing them next week, so let's leave it for then.
Yeah, so that was 2-0, and we were completely then sort of in cruise control a little bit. But I think in terms of the facts is that we were in cruise control in our mind that we had a two goal lead, but actually it freed them up then. Stevenage,
I was going to say, Dad, you say cruise control, but we were making some silly mistakes and gifting them the ball. And I think, again, we said this against Lincoln, Dad, or another team. If you play a championship team and give them the ball like that, they will score. They will punish you. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we gave it away as bad against Stevenage. We didn't give them any really massive clear-cut chances. We gave them a few half chances, but again, better teams will punish you. So my point is, I know the boys are tired. I get it. It's a long season. Yeah. Clearly, there's some tiredness in their legs. but those moments of sloppiness can cause you goals sometimes.
They can, and I suppose when I'm talking about cruise control, I was more talking about the mentality
Yes,
that we've
yeah,
got
yeah.
the 2-goal cushion, and that fans were more relaxed. You could tell, and the players obviously knew they had a 2-goal lead. But of course, the danger is then you take your foot off the gas, and we did. This is the point in time where we started to make those sloppy mistakes. Stephen had a really good chance. They got a really pacey. I think he's left winger Brandon Hanlon, and he cut in. He cruised past about 4 players, and actually shot from just outside the box, and it only just went wide of the post. So that was a good chance. Not long after that, they had another good chance as well. Dan Kemp, who I think is their top scorer, he also cut in from the left, and he had a shot from outside the box, and that went. And I think that was deflected by Clara out for a corner. So they came at us a little bit just after we went 2-0 up.
They're always going to, Dad. Away team, nothing to lose. You're 2-0 down. You're going to go have a go a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And we had another chance from Alfie May. I think there was about 15 minutes to go, round about 15 minutes to go, when the ball went in there, and their defender headed the ball, but actually it went up in the air, and it went to Alfie May instead, and he was running through, but he just lofted it over the bar.
A confident Alfie May scores that.
Yeah, I think so. But that would have done it. Made it another 3-0 and definitely comfortable. But then Stevenage got their goal, didn't they? And it was disappointing. I mean, okay, we got the 3 points. We're not going to argue with that. We're flying at the top of the league. But it's almost like, how dare a team score against us? and it was actually quite sloppy as well, because it was a free kick from the right that was drifted in. We didn't clear it, did we? I think he hit the back of Dowell's heel or something, and they shot and hit him again, and he went back to the player, and it was a good finish.
I was going to say, take nothing away from the actual finish, Dad. Fair enough. From a Blues point of view, we're going to be disappointed with that. It was sloppy, but it was actually a decent finish.
It was a good finish. But we won the game 2-1. Again, we are another 3 points. We're now 14 points clear at the top of League One with a game in hand. We got a game in hand over Wrexham, because Wrexham played last night and they lost, didn't they? 2-0
yes, they did.
At Reading. We played the same games as Wycombe now, but they play each other on Saturday. So it's all looking, positive. 14 points ahead, and we've got 11 games left now. The other teams have got maybe one game less, etc. But it was an important 3 points for us, because obviously we lost against Bolton, then we beat Lincoln, so we consolidate that again. And 82 points normally,
That's
90
crazy.
points is normally enough. I think I read a stat. I think it might have been Birmingham Live actually. They said that in every season apart from one, 90 points has been enough for automatic promotion. That's in modern League One.
There was one exception when it was Ipswich, Plymouth.
Yeah,
and,
they set up half once.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's
It was that season where it was just those top 3 teams were winning every week. It was
but
really
the thing
competitive.
is that if we just I think Chris Davis won't even look at that. He'll just say, look, we've got another game. He always refers to the next game as the most important, and we can't take just the fact we got 82 points, which is quite staggering, really.
Yeah, it is.
We're just going to just carry on as well. For me, then, just to finish, really, I think Sampsted took his chance, and that's what Chris Davis would want. A player gets a chance, he comes in. He done really well. Dowell always looks really composed to me. I like him on the ball. He's got some nice little tricks and flicks. And he's obviously really improved us, I think, since he came. And overall, brilliant. 3 points, another 3 points, and we move on to Northampton.
We keep moving, don't we, Dad?
Yeah.
Hopefully get this sealed up as quickly as we can. Not arrogance, but just I think we're all feeling the fatigue of the season, aren't we, even as a fan base now? So.
Well, we get a bit of a break because obviously we've got the Northampton game, and there's no game in midweek for the first time. I think it's probably just before Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's going to enjoy that, in particular the players. I mean, they must be absolutely shattered.
Me and you are as well. We've had a little bit of a week's buffer on the podcast. We are going to still create content, but it's not as intense with the games.
I've got to be honest, Matt. I've got a few ideas which I'll talk to you about, but it'd be nice to talk to about something else apart, because we haven't done like an unscripted for ages, and we're always talking about the matches, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But there's loads of other issues. We need to get it out there, Matt. We'll have a chat about that.
It's a podcast therapy session for me, isn't it? So it's always good. But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we'd love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you're a Stevenage fan, maybe you watched the pre-video, maybe you've tuned in for the first time, please let us know your thoughts on your team's performance and the results as well. If you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can listen to us and watch us over there if you like that platform as well. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to press that big red subscribe button so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one.